Welcome to everyone. I welcome you on behalf of Venerable Khenpo Khalsang Gyaltsen, the abbot of Khenchen Kunga Wangchuk Temple in Walden, New York, which is hosting the teachings today. Today is the beginning, the first of a series of 4 teachings being given this weekend on the ultimate view, according to a text by Khenchen Kunga Wangchuk, who founded the great monastery Dzongtsar Chense Choki Lodru Institute in Chandra, India. It's one of the foremost Buddhist colleges in India. We're fortunate today to study this text from Do Tulku Rinpoche, who is one of Khenchen Kunga Wangchuk's renowned students and also a graduate of that same Dzongtsar Institute. Do Rinpoche, as many of you know very well, is currently the resident Lama and spiritual guide of Arya Tarasnet, which is an online community and center for Buddhist studies and meditation in Germany. We're very grateful that he set aside so much time this weekend to help us understand this text and to share his wisdom with us. Before we request Rinpoche to begin the teachings, let's take a moment to try to develop the right motivation, thinking, today I've not only attained a precious human body, but I have this very rare opportunity to study the ultimate view from a genuine master. Now I will resolve to take full advantage of this great good fortune and try to listen, contemplate, and meditate these important topics, which are so central to the Bodhisattva's great goal of attaining perfect enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. So may our studies here benefit all living beings on the path to Buddhahood. We'll take a moment to reflect on that. And then after that, we will begin the preliminary prayers. Now we will begin the preliminary prayers. You can see them on the screen. To the excellent Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I go for refuge until enlightenment is won. By the merit of giving and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. To the excellent Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I go for refuge until enlightenment is won. By the merit of giving and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. To the excellent Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I go for refuge until enlightenment is won. By the merit of giving and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. Prostrations to you, King of the Shakyas, whose body is radiant like a mountain of gold. Through skillful means and compassion, you took birth in the Shakya clan and vanquished the hosts of Mara that others could not conquer. I prostrate to the 5 great Sakya founders, Sachin Kunga Ningbo, Sonam Semo, Jetsundrapa Gyaltsen, Sakya Pandita, and the Dharma King Chujalpapa. This is the ground anointed by scented waters, bestrewn with flowers, and beautified by Mount Sumeru, the 4 continents, the sun, and the moon. By directing this offering to the realms of the Buddhas, may I place all beings in their pure lands. In accordance with the wishes and mental capacity of living beings, please turn the wheel of Dharma of the larger and smaller traditions.
Tashidele. And thank you so much. Kaje zirjo rangja bene mandara nala jene jindan dengen bu jima bas se so de belu nam kain dan ganjere ne bal jora jarab de gaver bazim ba kain ba teda tamje tarba tambe gur jur tu be zuni jene dir je la dal nam miem ji bambo dan ja jin la su ji chola chawa chepan samge sung rab do ji jin de be joro jur ba de je je dambe juni jene dir je gang do ju dong ge jiden na de je lomro jur ba gang so de ting dir tembe chu ji charbe ji nimber de ba tamje dir Namola ege dalu de nujin je drum da mi janam do jo gunje janam je zambar thamje ke do ta ge chö ten do tabge tuk je jere zo dun jen me do ji bon jam bazar je lumbo da bro ji bi go je je be so la cha do cha bom kholo je bon no jam ga ba sam bo sang ge dong gang la gang du tela der dam tsumba jere ze la cha zo le se je jawa thamje ji ji bong bo chik do ba si ji kun ji pa jor we jambe yang la cha zo la khang shi to ne shin je phanya la zo da na ta ne chok je bo do je jen la cha zo Korvali rotare madodare jo dodore no namul drama yum la cha cha lo chadon kollo jibe jebo nun jeno gaba zombo zangi don gang la gang de tele der dem tsumba chereze la cha cha nalendar tukdam sitenje zamjin kala shikshanti deva shecha lama de la cha cha lo sheja tangje zibe cheyam ba rogun de rube tuje chen samye tile zebe tomma wa jungle lama chabla go cha cha sheja tangje zibe cheyam ba rogun de rube tuje chen tile zebe tomma jungle lama chabla go cha cha sheja tangje zibe cheyam ba rogun de rube tuje chen tile zebe tomma jungle lama chabla go cha so de so lama sa cha go chinna terjen daniel lama jambal di chenno chogu tawlo ningi khurlo namsam khangi chakdang so ngesen tache tambe me ba tegun gombe suje chi jasitu namtar sabjin jache tawlo nyerzulji yabjing ni le lashen tala rawa ma jikangin da ninsen kundu jamen gobe samjin cheji tuje ju chungsen menya menjesur ni rangi ne belle bise tadong kyunni majur pardo chapshen sol or majur roji hong uji jin nobjang zampema gezara dompola yansen choge ngudum pema jong shesuda kordo kandre mangdo goro chiji jisu ta dubdi shinji labjir sheksu sol guru pema sede hong kusum lama soje doji tala chodo monjong ngudrup zaldo song uji rinpoche la zo dam gal jimbar jimme jun chitin jen samba drupa dan chokdang dom ngudrup zaldo oh lasso good morning and so nice to see some familiar faces, some new ones. This teaching, so-called teaching, is quite special for myself for various reasons. First of all, it is composed by one of the first Dharma teacher, first important Dharma teacher of my life, the great abbot of Dzongsar, whose name, if I must take, was Kunga Wangchuk, Tashi Chabijaz and Pasumbo. So just for this fact alone, I'm so grateful to the center and Kempola and Anila for asking me to go through this. I have read so many biographies of so many teachers in my life, and many of the qualities of these great masters, great teachers, especially how learned they were, how disciplined they were, and how kind, compassionate they were, and how they did hearing, contemplation, and meditation, and how then they took care of various activities and sentient beings, these kind of descriptions of perfect beings. Thanks to having met Khenchen Kunga Wangchuk, I can believe those things. It's really possible. We have witnessed him. I find myself like an ant trying to scale Mount Everest, and no matter what I will say about his quality, it will always be incomplete, meager, almost an insult. So, but if you have heard great things about him, please know that that's probably true. When he passed away, I remember hearing this from his attendant. His Holiness such a teaching was there, and Khenchen Kunga was in Tukdam. They told me that His Holiness spent a long time looking at Khenchen's body, when he was in Tukdam. He was lying down, but he was in Tukdam. And apparently His Holiness Sakya teaching said that in this day and age, I think this is it, really, this is it, what we can do. Coming from him, it's a very, very high praise. As you know, Sakyapas, we don't praise easily. We don't use lofty words easily. It takes time. So, will, we want to talk about will. Will cannot be realized without devotion. It's not possible. In the Sutra of Katayana asked Buddha, how can one see the ultimate truth? And Gautama Buddha said, only through devotion. Only through devotion. This is not even a Mahayana Sutra, not Vajrayana. We're not talking about Vajrayana, not even Mahayana. It's Sravaka Sutra. And so, devotion accompanied with gratitude, humility, sincerity, and unbiased mind. These are the indispensable causes and conditions of having a correct view, unmistaken view. And so it's good to know the author, know about the author. If the author is a trustworthy person, even if the text does not make much sense, even if it's full of grammatical errors or even mistakes in meaning, even doesn't matter. Do you know that? It's a perfect text because it's coming from wisdom, even if it's not nice to read. And if the author, it's just doesn't really possess authentic practice and he was speaking through the door and he heard this Khenchen teaching. That there's this whole description about the 6 countries or 6 kingdoms that makes up India in those days and age, and so on. There's a whole stanza, and he was teaching. He had that, and he went home, and his parents asked him, "What happened? Where were you?" He said, "Oh, I was at monastery, and I heard Rinpoche teach." And they asked him, "What did he teach?" And he recited everything that he taught, Rinpoche was teaching that day. So definitely someone who has been practicing for many lifetimes, I would say. Rinpoche, I think, became ordained when he was 17. I believe he had to take care of his siblings. And then at the age of 17, he became a monk and he began studying under Joseph Khenchen Thupten Gyaltsen. And when Joseph Khenchen, who is his teacher, his main teacher, actually Joseph Khenchen also is one of the teachers of our Sakya teaching. I believe His Holiness may have received Ngomba from him, Abhidharma Kosha. Anyway, Joseph Khenchen was so well known. People like Khenpo Ape, his student, Khenpo Ape, so many great scholars, or many of them were his students. But Joseph Khenchen was invited to Dzongsar to be the abbot of Dzongsar, and so Khenchen Kunga Wangchuk also was taken to Dzongsar, and there he met the great Dzongsar Manjushri Jamyang Khinsa Choju Lodro, Manjushri Choju Lodro, and also for many other teachers. For almost 10 years or more, he received so many teachings, and he also became a review teacher in Dzongsar. And Dzongsar in those days was so was well known to have become a center of learning. I remember Samdong Rinpoche. He came to Dzongsar once, and he told us that his teacher actually told him that either you go study in Jepung, which is Gelugpa Monastery. I think Samdong Rinpoche studied there, or you should go study in Dzongsar. And his teacher actually praised Dzongsar, saying, "This monastic school is capable of producing sort of the best class scholars within 4 to 5 years. It's something like that. You would think it's a criticism, like almost like a sarcastic remark, but he was not making a sarcastic remark. He meant it. People like Khenpo Ape, Khenpo Rinchen, they became renowned within 4 or 5 years of their training in Dzongsar. So Dzongsar was a place like this. Khenchen Kunga Wangchuk taught in Dzongsar. I believe when Khenpo Ape Rinpoche was studying, Khenpo Rinpoche may have even been his review teacher. Anyway, when Khenchen Lodro and his teacher left Dzongsar to go to Lhasa, and Khenchen Lodro had plans to go to India. Not many people know that. So, but somehow Khenchen Rinpoche got to know, and he went to his teachers. And Dosip Khenchen said, "No, you stay. Khenchen Rinpoche was sent to another monastery to start teaching the monks there. And he said, you stay there until the day the monastery is destroyed, because they start hearing news about collision between communist forces and Tibetans, and how all the monasteries were destroyed and all the lamas were imprisoned and so on." So that's what he did. He actually, he told us, he actually stayed until the day the army were in front of the temple. And as they were shooting, he just stood there, he said, thinking, if Dharma is finished, what is the purpose of living, But nothing happened to him, so it became dark, so then he quietly went away. But anyway, he was imprisoned. He was caught afterwards, and he spent almost 20 years in prison. And then when he was 60 years old, he thought, now I will spend the rest of my life quietly practicing. And as he was doing his Hevajra retreat, he got a very strict letter from Dzongsar, the current Dzongsar Khyentse, which is saying, if you respect the samaya between you and me, you should come to India. And so this 62-year-old man, who was not really very healthy, who had no money, no direction of where he's supposed to go, he just left because of the letter. And it took him 6 to 7 months to reach India and meet Khenchen Rinpoche. And together they established Dzongsar Institute, which we have now. And Khenchen Rinpoche was always really so serene and calm and pristine that it would be very scary to be in front of him, to be honest. People like me, whose mind is just jumping everywhere. But he had that air around him, and he would recite, of course, on top of all the sadhanas, the 4 unbreakable sadhanas of the Sakyapa practitioners. On top of that, he would recite Ways of Bodhisattva every day, all 1,000 stanzas once every day. And he really was a true Bodhisattva. And now the current Dzongsar Institute, Khenchen Lodro Institute, was established, built by him. And I think in his short time teaching in India for about 2 decades, he produced more than 100 Dharma teachers, Khenpos, basically, teaching in all directions in the Sakyam, Kagyu, Nyingma monasteries primarily, all with respect to Rinme traditions, So when you think about it, it's really, I always, like I told you, I don't think I can really talk about him because I don't know where to start. So You may think, oh, this guy is just talking about some monk. Whereas I just don't know how to talk about these people. They're just so special. Anyway, before we begin into the text, I would, with joint hands, would like to request you to try and sit straight, your shoulder even, backbone as straight as possible. Try to get to a point where your body is straight yet comfortable, not strained. And bring to your mind Tathagata Gautama, and the fully awakened one, liberated one, our teacher, expounder, source of our liberation, in front of you, seated under the Bodhi tree. With his right hand touching the ground, left hand in meditation, and his gaze fixed on you. So you in front of this fully awakened being under the Bodhi tree, with all the green, perfect Bodhi leaves. And just watch that. Watch the Buddha in front of you, his face, hands, fingernails, eyes, nose, to your best ability, or just wonder. Just wonder. How did his eyes look like? His nose, his lips, his hair. Thank you very much. In this brief moment, we have traveled so fast and we have come so close to an unmistaken view. This brief moment of you thinking about the Buddha. In Sutra of Buddha Anusmriti Samadhi Mahasagara, it basically means ocean of meditation upon Buddha, remembrance of Buddha. It's a very important Mahayana Sutra. Actually, if you go through important Mahayana Sutras, everywhere, thinking about the Buddha is so important. Thinking about Buddha's face, Buddha's voice, Buddha's just like sitting, sleeping, standing, walking is so important. In that sutra, Tathagata Gautama, it starts with his father asking him, what about the future beings? We can see how wonderful you are, how just seeing your mere face dispels ignorance from our mind. What about future beings? So he then teaches this sutra and he says, sons and daughters of noble family, which is you, sons and daughters of noble family. In future, if you, if they contemplate on my form, even on the form of the Tathagata, at that moment, in that moment, their mind and my wisdom becomes one. So there is that kind of teachings of the Buddha and accumulation of merit in purification of afflictions and obscurations, negative karma. If we listen to these descriptions, I don't think we even have merit to believe that I can do this so easily. Just just sitting comfortably on my sofa, probably in a moment I can accumulate so much merit and get so close to the ultimate view. One of the biggest obscuration of bodhisattvas is not having confidence, not believing the method, not believing the teachings, not believing your own mind, the ability of your own mind, not believing that. It's a very, very big obscuration. Now, beginning, Khenchen Rinpoche starts with prostrations to Guru and Manjushri Natha. He always says this. I remember every time he would teach, he always said that. I used to do his imitations, not to make fun, but just to remember him, the way his voice and he has this Kampa dialect, this accent. So sweet to listen to. First, he makes prostrations to his guru in Manjushri. Then I think the first stanza is then dedicated to Sugata, Buddha, Tathagata, Gautama Buddha. As the only concern of Buddha, Tathagata, was to eradicate mistaken view, to show the correct view. That's all he ever wanted to do. As soon as the Buddha gained full awakening, he said, Sabji total was a dumachi, duzito chushi dagini, sulatena gor mijuru, miman nagi now the never chas. It's almost how to say, him being a bit pessimistic almost, and like acting like saying, I have found such a subject, such a profound such a profound peaceful, beyond fabrication, luminous, uncompounded nectar like Dharma. He's talking about the ultimate view that he gained. Ultimate view is awakening, just awakening. So he said, I have found that. But if I were to try and explain it to somebody, no one will understand in this world. So it's better that I will just spend the rest of my life, remainder of my life, here quietly in this forest. So, and then beings begin to request him to teach and turn the wheel of Dharma. And then he went on to teach first the five ascetics who were practicing in Varanasi, and by teaching Four Noble Truths and so on, karma, dependent origination, traveling. So all these four seals, all of those were mere means of pointing to the correct view, to the perfect, unmistaken view, awakened mind. So that's what was the only, wish or intention of the Gautama. So, like the sun illuminating the perfect view with thousands of rays, for degenerate beings as limitless as space, proceeding with compassion and unhindered skillful means, may the supreme teachers be victorious. So this is for Gautama. And then the next, in India, there have been so many great masters, great scholars, 80 Mahasiddhas, and hundreds and thousands of Mahapanditas and so on. But two, amongst all of them, we really remember and respect two, mainly Nagarjuna and Asanga. Here, Khenchen Kunga added his brother, which is Vasubandhu, who's Vasubandhu. Why? Because of them having taught the two important Mahayana views, that of Yogacharya from Asanga, Vasubandhu, and so on. Then from Madhyamika, as he says, Nagarjuna is chief disciple. So Nagarjuna, Nagabuddhi, Aryadeva, and then to all the way to Chandrakirti. So Yogacharya here is the vast, the lineage of vast activities. And then Madhyamika is the profound view, the lineage of the profound view. That's what it means. And then the next stanza, he makes prostrations to Dharma kings and great translators, scholars and sages of all traditions. This is so important. It's something that I'm afraid we're forgetting. Being thankful towards the Dharma kings, Indian Dharma kings such as Ashoka and so many others. We don't even know. We're that much, negligent. We don't even know any other king other than Ashoka. Dharma lasted in India for more than 1,000 years. So how many great kings who really did everything they could, and because of whom Buddha Dharma could thrive and survive. Even during the time of Buddha himself, he befriended so many kings, and thanks to those kings, he could really expand his Sangha. He could really then reach to far corners of this earth because of those kings, great kings. And then the great Tibetan kings such as Songtsen Gampo, Chisong Deodzin, Tiralpachen, they really did everything. Khenchen Rinpoche would tell us that when Chisong Deodzin was attempting to translate entire Buddha Dharma into Tibetan, and he was giving all the gold he had, all the sort of treasury he had to he was spending it for this vast project and establishing monasteries and temples, and many of his ministers, even his own wife, they were not happy, and they would really create so much obstacles. And sometimes he would just get so frustrated that he would jump from his throne and roll in the dirt, and pull his hair with his hand to really without them there's no Sakya, no Kadyu, no Nyingma, no Gelug, none of this. All the teachers you have known in your life, coming from the Himalayan Tibetan tradition, none of that will be possible without Chisong Deodzin, without Padmasambhava, these great beings. And the translators, the old translators such as Baruchana and Satya Pandita, he's a great translator. He translated a lot. We forget that sometimes, that he actually was a great translator also. So making prostrations to all of them. Then this one to I think is it the third or the fourth stanza, homage to the fearless teacher, lion like Sonam Singye. This one is a very, very special Sakchapa master, Koramba Sonam Singye, one of the predecessor of the Jongsar Khinches. His qualities are so he would write Tantra commentaries. And how would he write it? In his dream, his teacher would be teaching on a throne, and he would listen to it in his dream, and he wake up and then write them down like that. He would write like that. Sonam Singye was not your ordinary author. Fearless master. I don't even want to go into details because it's just, again, my head will collapse, because Koramba Sonam Singye was really, really special. And he didn't even study that long. Anyway, so yes, Sonam Singye, so makes prostrations to that, especially the Jongsar tradition. And then because of Jongsar tradition, you have the Sakya College and the Puruwala College. All of these places now mainly study the text of Koramba Sonam Singye. We Sakyapas, our problem is that we have too many great scholars, and we don't have enough people to study what they wrote. It's a real problem, actually. I'm smiling here, but it's a real issue, because we are now slowly, we're losing the lineage, that's teaching and lineage of so many great scholars, because, but thankfully we really managed to keep Koramba Sonam Singye's tradition. Khenchen Choju Lodro, thanks to him, he really fought for it. Anyway, so then the next homage is to his root guru, Thupten Jelsen, Dosip Khenchen Thupten Jelsen, and then his promise to write this text. So, and he says that this text, he wrote this as an answer to people repeatedly asking him about the Sakyapa view, what is the view of Sakyapa? Mm, in in I think among all schools, the view of the Kajupa, the different Kajupas, the greater and the smaller ones, their views and the Nyingmapa tradition views is quite well known. Whereas the Sakyapa views is really not that well known for whatever reason. So it's understandable. People ask him. Mm, ultimately, it's same. There is no such thing as, oh, this kind of wisdom mind is according to the Sakyapa view. It's not according to the Nyingmapa view. There's no such thing. There should be no such thing, or we have a big issue. That being said, the way it is presented, here it's presented in a very scholarly manner. But it's also not that Khenchen Kunga did it in his own accord, like however he wanted. It's very much according to Hevajra root tantra, where when introducing view to someone, it's most of the time it's best to then introduce it in this manner, how he does, first talking about like non-Buddhist and then Buddhist, and within those traditions, eternalist view and nihilist view, so on. So, and then finally getting to the Madhyamika. And of course, in the Tantra, it goes on to say, then finally up until He Vajra. So it's also not that he just made it up. It's very much according to the tradition. But also, those of you who are new to this, please do not think that this is all there is. In the different Sakyapa traditions, especially in Lamde, Vajrayogini practices and so on, there are, how to say, a proper way of introducing the Sakyapa view. But here, I think it's more for general, general readers or practitioners, who may really want to practice it, or who may just be curious about it. As we know, everything is dependent on views in this world. Everything, our happiness, suffering, near, far, good, bad, everything is dependent on views. Unclear view, unclear existence, unclear directions, clear view, clear directions. Whether it is mundane pursuit, you need mundane views, or spiritual pursuit, you need spiritual view. Good, something bad, proper, improper, selfish or not. Whatever we do and say and think is influenced through views, what kind of views we have. I want to say this because I don't want it to sound like, oh, we're studying some old text, or some text written by some old guy who was apparently really great. We really need to, and since you will probably not read this text again after today, after today and tomorrow, be honest. Most of us are not going to even remember the name of this text. So then why not do it with a proper view, with a bit of preparation? And now more than ever, everything is about view. What do you believe in? Who are you with? Which side are you on? Whether it's what do you call it? Polarization? Yes. It's all view. It's all about view. Social media, private life. It's all view. It's not even an. Everybody wants to think differently, and they think it's good to think differently. According to Gautama, that is the degeneration of view. Degeneration of view. Do you know what it means? Degeneration of view is that the reason why we need to think differently is because the realities of things are so obscure to us. And so, as like 10 blind men touching 10 different parts of an elephant and thinking that's how the elephant is. Each of us have fractions of realities, and so we have different views. Even the three yanas, even having three yanas is actually, from a higher viewpoint, is not a good thing. There is the sutra of Great Liberation Sutra where when Gautama was Shakyamuni was teaching, and naturally whenever he would teach, the whole world will be illuminated. Now I don't know if it means actual light like the sunlight, or just that happiness and joy spreads through this world. I'm not sure. But here in the sutra says an actual light that spreads not only in this world, but to a far, far away world where another Buddha was teaching. And so the Bodhisattvas there, and this Buddha only had Bodhisattva Sanghas. No Arhat, Pratyeka Buddha, none of those. They haven't even heard of such things. So they asked the Buddha, this sort of radiant light that, shone at once from all directions, who is causing this? What is the cause? And then the Buddha of that realm says, oh, it is because of the great Tathagata, Siddhartha Gautama. He is giving this teaching in this realm. That's why this is happening. So then the Bodhisattvas wish to see Buddha, and they request the Buddha, can you please make us see this Buddha that you speak of, whose light just spread through our world? And then the Buddha says, I will enable you to go to that realm and make offering to the Buddha, but make sure you stay away from people of that realm, he says, because they reek of views. That's the thing. They reek, their stench, the stench of their different views will be unbearable to you. And for these people, this Buddha had to teach Dharma in 3 different yanas for the Sravakas, Pratyeka Buddhas, and the Bodhisattvas, like that. So view is what governs, view is what decides whether whatever we do is a good or a bad, beneficial or harmful. And we are as degeneration spreads, we will have more and more and more very stranger views. That's just the progression of it, or the degeneration of it. So now in this day and age, someone like you inquiring, thinking about the perfect view, the corrective view, the view taught by the Sugata, the view that's beyond extreme, it's quite precious actually. And this kind of text that teaches it. And in this regard, do not take this as criticism of other traditions. It's not. It's just how it is. It's not like a buffet where everybody gets something. There cannot be many different realities. Doesn't make sense. Do you know? So it's not, so not everyone can have the perfect view, unmistaken view. And so here, when we discuss through these views, have that also, that it's not so that you can use these texts to look down upon other schools and other traditions. It really should not be like this. Even when before the birth of Siddhartha, in his previous life, he was a celestial being, a celestial, being in Tushita, and he announced to his students, the disciples, gods and goddesses, saying, it's time now for me to be reborn in human realm. And when he announced that, many of them came to him to protest, so to speak, saying, right now is the worst time to go in human realm because of these different. So they named mainly 6 or 18 different ancient schools who are spreading all kinds of views. They said, because of this, look, it's really the worst of the time. So this talk about view, the importance of view, it's always been there, and it always will be there. What you believe, so important, isn't it? What you believe. Here, view is what imprisons you. View is what's going to liberate you. So it's very important for us. But then again, please do not think that there is a way of thinking that is the correct view, that is the perfect view. If you do that, then you will fall into one of the extremes. I do not know which. It depends on how you think, whatever you're thinking at that time. If you have heard of parting from the 4 attachments, Shambhashidel, Manjushri says, if Zimbachuna Tawa means, if there is grasping, it is not the view. If there is grasping, it is not the view. So ultimate view, in whichever tradition, here the Sanklipa tradition, has to be beyond grasping, has to go beyond grasping. Now we will talk about eternalism and nihilism. This inherently, we are all under eternalism. All of us, all sentient beings fall, into this extreme view of having a very, takpa dewa chikpu rawangchen. We are born with this sense of existence, of permanence. We are convinced there will be tomorrow. That somehow I will be there next month. We are convinced that I was there 10 years ago. We are convinced I will do this, do that. So this kind of view is called takparzimba, belief in permanence. And we also, of course, mother of all is believe in a self. Believe in a self that, center of our being, existing, the core of our being. We believe there is something like, So that is an inherent mistaken view. So here, we're not really talking about that. Well, we are trying to remove that though, but we're not really discussing that. Now, to remove that, all those, we need the correct view. But here, when we talk about eternalism, nihilism, we are talking about imputed views that are taught to us. We're not born with these things. We're not born into believing in a self or a soul or a atman or whatever. Nobody is. We are taught. So it's imputed. We're talking about imputed views. So here, Rinpoche says, I think I'm somewhere in the 5th page now. He first wants to talk about non-Buddhist views, and then so we have non-Buddhist and Buddhist views. And first he talks about non-Buddhist views, and then within non-Buddhist view, you have believers in eternalism and believers in nihilism. And believers in eternalism are mainly ancient Indian, non-Buddhist ancient Indian schools that believed in a self, basically a self. And the description of the self may differ a little bit. Purusha, and even the names may differ, like Atman or Purusha or whatever, but inherently, all of these schools believed that there has to be a self, and actually it's for a good reason, actually, why they believe so. Why you need a self. Especially when it comes to life after death, being stuck in mundane samsaric existence, or having gained liberation either through meditation or through the grace, blessing of the Creator, whatsoever. It is quite important. I think this is a reminder we should take a break. And I will try to be less, I'm no scholar, but still less scholastic. It is just we can do it only a week short time, then because if we do this, we are never going to even reach the subjective view, which is at the end. So yeah, let's have maybe 8 minutes. Is it too long? Right. Anyway, I'll just show up, and then there is Anila and all they will guide you.
So now we want to tell Rinpoche how much we deeply appreciate his wonderful teachings and thank him very much for these blessings. And so now we will read the dedication prayers together.
Anila,
I'm sorry.
I think this is a short break.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
About non-Buddhist schools, and within non-Buddhist schools, those with eternalist views. As you can read, Khenchen Rinpoche goes through many sort of ancient schools. Most of these schools do not survive now, or now it's like a big sort of everything is now together, I think. For example, most of these schools actually do not have a creator, what do you call it, God, for example, like Samkhya. If you go through the description of Samkhya school that you find in old Buddhist text, there's not even a mention of any god or goddess or any such being as a creator. A few years ago, I had the good fortune to talk with someone who also had studied the Samkhya tradition in now modern India, and it seems that they believe in a god. Somehow, God is also now included in, or not included in the 25 numbers. Samkhya means numbers, by the way, it just means numbers. This school, and I talk a bit about this school because this is, among all the other schools, this is the most celebrated sort of, among all the non-Buddhist schools, this is the one that is most celebrated because I think they were also the one that was most intelligent, so to speak. You know, so Buddhist teachers, they love debating with the Samkhyas. You know, of all the other traditions, they love this school because I think they're the most, and their descriptions are actually quite interesting. They believe that basically there are only 25 things that exist. In existence, all existence can be included into 25 things. That's it. So hence the name Samkhya. And the main creator is called, what is this? Primal substance. This, you see, there's the self and primal substance. So this self, which is you, well, not really you actually. As a person, you is not this. You as a person is the illusion. Your hand, your feelings, and all this is illusion. But within you, there is a self. How to say? it's your mind, but not necessarily your feelings and all this kind of mind, but like more purer form of your mind. I hope no Samkhyas are listening. I don't anyway, so the primal substance is the creator here. It's not a being per se. It's not a, it doesn't have the wish to create necessarily, but basically, and this primal substance, and that's why they're so intelligent. When you really go first, it sounds like this primal substance, like some sort of something out there that's creating everything, and the more you get attached and deluded and believe it's all real, the bigger and bigger the bigger creation becomes. And then one day the meditator realizes that all of this is created by prakriti, the primal substance, or the nature, and they meditate, and all of this then dissolves back into the nature, like that, like the nature becomes shy, and sort of everything sort of collapses back into it. Doesn't sound so intelligent. But then you listen to description of what is this primal substance? What is this nature? So, and then it gets to basically our afflictions. When you listen to the description, it's affliction. So basically the afflictions creating everything, and then everything going back into the affliction, and that's liberation. It's a really, really, if you think about it, they're really, really intelligent. Anyway, but they believe in a self, a truly existing self. Nevertheless, they believe in a self, and that becomes an issue. The next, here you have Vaibhasika. I don't think this is Vaibhasika. Chatamma. Here you have Vaibhasika twice. Also, then after that you have Vedic school, then Jains, then Vaibhasika again. I think one of this should be Viseshika. It's a very similar name. One could be Vaibhasika. I think there's also one Buddhist Vaibhasika, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, nevertheless, now all of these schools believe in a self, also in a creator, but not all of them. I think the Vedic school may believe in a creator, like a god. This kind of like how we understand when we hear about creator, like a being, maybe, but not necessarily the others. And like I was saying before the short break, that it is for a good reason too, because they understand that the body does not go to next life. My form, this body does not go to next life. Also, mind also doesn't really go to the next life, because right now my mind is human mind. It's all about human emotion, human ideas, view, behavior, habit. This you will not see in a lizard, for example. If I die and become a lizard, its body is different, the mind is also different. Yet again, you need to have a continuity. But if it is like this, they think there is no continuity. That body is different in the next life, mind is also different in the next life. What continues? They argue. It's actually one of the arguments they make towards Buddhists, saying you people are nihilistic, follower of nihilism, because you do not believe in a continuity. Something that goes from this life to the next, something that's going to experience the result of the karma. And so they have this, that there is a self, that is So it's actually, it's not that they just, you know, that is just like a residue or some sort of structure that they just build, but it's very, very important aspect of their belief. The something that continues, or someone that goes from this life to the next, someone who will become either liberated or who will remain in samsara, you know, this. Okay, then the nihilistic view part is, here we have charvakas only. I think in ancient India there's only charvaka. The history is of charvaka according to Chandrakirti is not so nice. I don't even know if it wouldn't be Chandrakirti speaking. You would think that it is probably what do you call it, rumors or you know, bad mouthing. It's this really learned Brahmin. He was a really learned Brahmin. Had a very beautiful daughter. He fell in love with this daughter, his own daughter. And his daughter was also very learned. And obviously she says this is, you know, not proper and so on to her father. And to convince her that there's no such thing as life after death, all you've been taught is all wrong. Like there's karma, there's no such thing, you know, it's just by nature. We live once and we die once, and that's it, finished. Nothing else remaining. No need to worry. I don't know if it is really something we should be telling people, but in the in the commentary of 400 verses, this is how it is explained, the origin of this school. Well, they're no longer existent, so I guess we can badmouth them, so you know, no one will get offended. But but supposedly they were very sharp. They were very sharp. They say things like, you know, peas are round and you know, soft. Beans and peas are soft and perfectly flat, you know, like a round surface. Or thorns are sharp. A peacock's feather have 10, 20, many different colors. Nobody painted the feathers. Nobody went and made the peas round. It's just happened naturally. Similarly, you were born because your parents were together, you know, the seeds met and everything, whatever it happened, and then you are out here. Then you will live for a while. Because you're alive, you have a mind. And when you die, the mind is also going to cease to exist. Your body decomposes. There's nothing remaining of you. Like that. It's quite interesting, actually. But anyway, they were attacked from all corners, both by Buddhists and non-Buddhists. Everybody seemed to have hated them with the passion, you know, and so they did not survive. Well, I think maybe I should better look into the camera. Now the Buddhist schools. You may notice that we don't really have a nihilist sort of school that follows nihilism in the Buddhist tradition. Only eternalism. And in that regard, all the schools, except the Madhyamika school, all have some sort of eternalistic views about something. Something must be there. That's our biggest problem, isn't it? There has to be something that is really there. There has to be something that is causing this. Some of you, you know, every time you get unwell or there is a spooky feeling or whatever, you blame, you blame others. You blame, actually, I know one or two people here who always blames ghosts. There is ghost here, ghost there. That's why this is happening. Some people I know ghost, because of their tradition, in their country, they have a lot of black magic. They really believe black magic. So no matter what happens, it's like, oh, Rinpoche, somebody did black magic to me. Everything, even if a glass breaks, is black magic. What is this? So, but this is this urge that you have. You need to blame something. You want to, you need a source of all of your problem. It's not necessarily you, and preferably not you, actually. So all of these schools, they have a source of existence. Why do we exist? Why is this happening? Because of this. Something external, something internal. Regardless, they have something that they can point to and say, this is there, that is the building block of everything, every existence and so on. We have categorized Buddhist schools into 4: Vaibhasikas, Sautantrikas, Chittamatra, Madhyamika. Vaibhasika. But each of these school categories have their own subcategories. It's not like just 4 schools and they were all happy and holding hands. Not at all. They were very much in conflict among each other too about the view, because it's important. Will is what's going to decide whether you're going to get liberated or not. If you meditate on a mistaken view for hundreds of years, no liberation. So for us, this is the most important thing. The view is the most important thing. And hence all the discussions, all the scriptures. Here in the text you see Rinpoche mentioning Samitya and Sravaka Vaibhasika schools, and then Samitya schools into 3, and then he also talks about Vaibhasika schools. Samitya, this category, and most importantly Vastiputriya, this one, this is a school. It was just school. They really believe in a self. They needed a self. And also in many sutras, Buddhas have made such things such as like the 5 aggregates are like loads, like a burden that, like a load, like a bundle. And the one that carries this bundle is a person. He says, 5 aggregates. Form, this form, sensation, when you touch something, the sensation, hear something, whatever, there's always sensation. Form comes in contact with object, sensation. Then perception, good, bad, nice, not nice, soft, whatever, warm, cold. Mostly, what is it? Judgmental mind, that's perception. That decides the next one, which is formation. What are you going to do? What do you do now? Anyway, then the last one is the consciousness. So these are the five aggregates. We are made of these 5 aggregates, let's say like that. And then when Buddha taught these 5 aggregates, actually Buddha taught these 5 aggregates so that we will understand the ultimate view. Buddha taught these 5 aggregates so that we will understand there is no self. You are not a one thing. You are a name given to 5 different things. And this was important. In the very description of a self or Atman, or is Takpa Chikpu Rawachins, A self is singular phenomena. Takpa, chikpu, it's alone. Alone meaning it doesn't depend on anything else to exist, and it is permanent. This kind of description, you might think, why do they say that? But actually, it's so intelligent. It really, if you ever study the Mulla Madhyamika Karika, the root verses of Madhyamika from Nagarjuna, there you will understand. Actually, these people, these non-Buddhist schools who say things like a self has to be like a permanent and singular, it's really intelligent actually. But anyway, here, when Siddhartha Gautam, Buddha taught 5 aggregates, which was actually to destroy the illusion that I am one thing. You're not one thing, you're 5 different things if you want something, and then each of those things, like a form, it's not one thing. Hands are not legs, legs are not head, tongue is not your skin, different things. Sensation, hundreds of different sensation happening all the time. All of this make together makes you. So it's also hundreds of perception, also hundreds and thousands of them. So then in this way it was to destroy the illusion of one phenomena, that's you. Because even as an experience, you can see every time someone will ask you, who are you? You have a complete picture of who you are. This will start with name, then maybe from where you're from. I guess for some people it's their job, but you always have a complete picture of who you are. And tomorrow you may have a complete picture of who you are, which will be different from today. Nevertheless, at each given time, you always have a complete picture of who you are. And at each given time, your picture of who you are is the final one for you at that moment. I am this. That's the problem. This one thing that you think you are, however innocent it may sound. So to destroy that, Gautama taught 5 aggregates. But then these people thought 5 aggregates, and then when Buddha said the 5 aggregates are like a burden, and the one that carries that burden is the person. They really believe that Buddha is saying that there is a person, really truly existing person. But they also know that the descriptions of all of a truly existing self of all the other schools, non-Buddhist schools, you can argue against it, and they're kind of, to them it is proven that none of this is proper. Yet there is a self. So then they started saying it is inexpressible. There is a self, but if you ask where is this self, we don't know. It's inexpressible. And this is really, really difficult. How are you going to argue with someone who does not really have, a thesis, so to speak, who doesn't really have a definition, or they may have a definition that you cannot really argue with, because it's not really a definition, it's a lack of definition. It's inexpressible. When you say things like that, inexpressible. Dignaga, the father, I think we should call him, not we should call him, he was called the father of the Pramana tradition. His writing of Pramana is called Pramana Sutra. Since it's equal to the writings of Buddha, they call it Sutra, Pramana Sutra. Dignaga was such an important teacher. And we talk about Pramana after a while, especially for the Sakchapas. Pramana is so important. Not just Sakchapas, but since our ancestors have done, lineage masters have done so much for the development of Pramana tradition. Dignaga, who later becomes a great, also Mahayana teacher, I think. But initially he was in his youth he was a student of Vastiputriya, this tradition, and his abbot, within the first time he heard it, he knew this didn't make sense. He was that smart. His teachers taught him about the self, and teachers said this self is the one that will gain awakening, become Buddha one day, so you have to like protect the self. But this self is inexpressible, cannot be found anywhere if you try to look and so on. So then one day what he did was that he opened his door and window and curtains, everything open, and he started making a lot of clanking noise. And he had lamps in his hand, 2 lamps, even though it's sunny outside, and he's looking everywhere frantically. So monks begin thinking he has lost his mind, and called the teacher. The abbot came and asked him, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm looking for the self you taught me. I cannot find it anywhere. I've just been looking day and night." As a criticism, so to speak. His teacher understood that and told him to leave, and he left. Anyway, so that's cool. Then we have a Vaibhasika school, 7th page. Is it the last paragraph? The Sravaka Vaibhasika. This school. Okay, now these schools were not there when Buddha was there, because that would not be possible. That wouldn't be possible at all to have such wrong views while Tathagata was still alive. Also, these schools were not there when the great Arhats were there. It would not be possible. The great Vasubandhu, here up there, when we talk about Nagarjuna and Asanga, and then it's written Asanga and his brother, that's Vasubandhu, great Indian master. I think it's too much detail. Initially, Arhats were teaching. When Arhats were still alive and giving teaching, there was no such wrong view. And they compiled Shataksha Suchama, this a compilation of teachings of so many different great masters, with many thousands of stanzas and so on, like this huge compilation. But as time passed by, there also appeared great non-liberated masters too, who started adding on to the compilation, and then started all this, what we Mahayana or other like Sutantrika say, the degeneration of the Vaibhasika tradition. That's, you can say like that, yeah. So then now we have the tradition that we study now is then quite removed, to be honest, from the teaching of the Siddhartha, teaching of the Gautama Buddha. Especially here, these 5 things that they believe truly exist. It's not, yeah, this is really basis of form, basis of mind, basis of mental factors, basis of compounded form, which are disassociated, basis of permanence, which is uncompounded. Yeah. Nevertheless, just know that they believe in true existence. That's their view, and from now, according to this view, they also understand the Four Noble Truth. They believe Four Noble Truth. They believe 4 seals, but it's very, very different. For example, in the 4 seals, you have how to say, the first seal about impermanence, Dujatamti Mitaba, can be quite similar to some extent. Sakje tamje dungal ba. Second one also quite similar. The third one, che tamje tongje dame ba. All phenomena is empty of an inherently existing self. There you have a huge difference what it actually means. Nevertheless, these schools, they believe that they don't believe in Mahayana. They think the Mahayana, the whole thing is all mistaken. And this belief is still carried on in the Theravada tradition too. If you, if if a Theravada master is very honest to you, will tell you, no, you think this is all mistaken. Buddha never taught this. Buddha only taught in Pali. Your sources are Sanskrit and all kind of things, they will say. Because of these, that's their background. It's not that because of some political reason, but it's just, see, again, view. It's that their view is this, based on Vaibhasika tradition. But they believe in Buddha. They also believe in Bodhisattva. So then what they say is that Siddhartha Gautama, when he was born, was an ordinary man who had been practicing for 3 countless aeons, practicing the 4 noble truths for 3 countless aeons, wishing to become Buddha. And then in his final life, he became that, he became Buddha. Up until then, he is called Bodhisattva. Under the Bodhi tree, when he sat and became awakened, in an instant, from an ordinary person became Buddha. So all the Bodhisattva path, the bhumis, these are all disregarded. Not all of this is false, not true. But true is this. So basically, if you meditate on 4 noble truths to become Arhat, you need to meditate on them if you're really, really fast, for 3 lifetimes. If you meditate on 4 noble truths for 100 aeons, then you can become a Pratyeka Buddha. And if you meditate on 4 noble truths for 3 countless aeons, then you become Buddha. So that's their sort of basic view, their belief, their what they think is true. Anyway, then next is Sautrantika school, page number 10. That's in between. Khenchen Kunga discusses the 4 noble truths a little bit, samatha vipassana, and then vipassana is basically contemplation of the 4 noble truths, breaking 4 noble truths into 16 noble truths. This one is really interesting, and it's so sad that almost I haven't heard almost any Himalayan teacher teaching about this. They actually, when you go through them, this is so profound, these 16 noble truths, which are basically this breaking down of the 4 noble truths. Next is Sautrantika school. This school is really important for us, to be honest. This school did a lot. Rinpoche does not mention it here clearly, but this school also, there are 2. One's that follower of scriptures and follower of reasoning. And the ones he's mentioning here, the view of the Sautrantika school is largely the same as the view of the Sravaka Vaibhasika school, is talking about the follower of scripture ones, not the follower of reasoning. And they're very similar to Vaibhasika schools. Also, these 2 schools believe that when you become Arhat, or when you become Buddha, and then you die, that's the end of your existence. you no longer have karma to be reborn, and so you just cease to exist. Truth of cessation, you just cease to exist and you're just gone. So according to this tradition, Buddha is gone. There is no Buddha now. Tathagata Gautama Buddha is completely gone. Of course, it doesn't mean that they don't respect them. They respect them for the memory, still there is a blessing. But as a person, Buddha is gone. That's so according to the Mahayana, especially Madhyamika, that's kind of a nihilistic view. According to Madhyamika, nothing can vanish, nothing can go, nothing can vanish without, nothing can exist without giving result. Everything must give result. Matter of fact, that is the only way of existing, is to give result. So there's a difference, like, so you cannot just vanish, you always have result. Anyway, I'm really not the right person to talk about views and meditation, these kind of things. I get so carried away with these, jabs of these schools. It's so much fun. And the view is lost in between. But anyway, let's pretend that we are doing it. So then here in the 10th, he quotes Pramana Vartika. Now this Sotantrika school is really not like the Vibhasika school. In the beginning, at B2 Sautrantika, he says the view of the Sautrantika school is largely the same with the view of the Sravaka Vibhasika school. That one, yes, is similar, but there's two different Sautrantika schools. Pramana, Pramana means a trustworthy mind, a valid mind. And it's just so beautiful. You should really try to study Pramana. I'm really serious. At the least, it will teach you how to speak coherently, how to in this day and age where no one knows how to actually have a discussion. Really, it seems like that, no matter what you say, nothing changes. Then to have someone study Pramana, understand what is a valid cognition, what is invalid cognition, understand the workings of mind and the relations of words and language and ideas, the jumble of all this, and to send someone out into the world would be such a gift, I think. Someone who can speak properly. It's from Pramana, very important. Because of Pramana, Buddha Dharma have survived for so long. Especially in those days in India, there was this very honorable, actually it's quite honorable, but sometimes very scary tradition of debate. And when they debate, it's not that you lose your face if you lose. If you lose, you lose everything. You change your whole, path and follow the one who have won. So everything is at stake. And it was people like Dignaga, Dharmakirti, and the followers who kept Buddha Dharma alive, because they really specialized in the workings of mind and language, the debate. So especially if you go through types of reasoning, it's so good. Just out of curiosity, you guys like to go to museum, don't you? Like, go think like that, going to museum, just read through it or listen to someone talk or just try it out. It could really surprise you. Pramana is what is needed, really needed, especially in this day and age where you don't know what to believe. For a meditator, if you really want to discern what you are thinking, what you understood is correct or incorrect, you need pramana. You need to understand pramana. It will really help you a lot. Anyway, so pramana comes from this tradition. So we are really thankful to this tradition. And the rest is please read. It's not difficult at all. How someone becomes arahat, pratika Buddha and Buddha. Arhats are basically, if I make a stereotypical judgment, arhats are basically those who understand samsara, but from their own point of view. When they watch samsara suffering, I need to get out. I cannot take this anymore. Arhat needs to go up. Pratyeka Buddha is more, they understand the suffering of samsara. They want to get out, but they also want to help beings. But then they also don't want to teach and do all the things that Buddha did. You understand? And they want to be left alone. For them, even talking is suffering, because to talk you have to think, and it's not good. So, but they want to help beings too. So they want to be left alone. So they want to be in a world where there is no Buddha, no Dharma, no Sangha, the Pratyeka Buddhas. But they want to help beings. So they help beings. They pray that may I be able to teach Dharma without speaking. So Pratyeka Buddha, that's why during the time of Buddha, there was no Pratyeka Buddha in this world. There were Arhats, Bodhisattva, but not the second type was not there, because there is a Buddha here. They don't want to mingle. They didn't want to be left alone. But then in worlds where there is no Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, then these beings will be reborn there, and it will be their last life. They know what to do. They know the meditation they need to do and the accomplishments they need to do, so they do not rely on anybody else. And so these beings will, but they will still appear in that world, and they most probably be wandering ascetics, monks, let's say, renunciants, and who will also beg for food and clothing here and there. And people will see them, and when people will see them, their mind changes. And sometimes these beings do something so that the seed of liberation is awakened in the minds of beings, and that's it. But they're not going to say one word of teaching. That's Pratyeka Buddha. Then of course Buddha, the complete Buddha, is wanted to elaborate on that. Now this is difficult for me to say, but we are talking about the view, so we have to say it. These two schools cannot produce arhats. Not possible, because they believe in a true existence. So both Vaibhasika and Sutantrika schools believe in a true existence of partless particle, for example. Partless particle, or the actual name is atom, an atom. And partless mind, like the shortest duration of mind that cannot be broken down further. They believe in true existence of these two things, regardless of whichever Vaibhasika school you are, or and because for good reasons in a way. You have, for example, there is this wall. Now they know that wall is not a true. Matter of fact, the definition of ultimate truth in Vaibhasika school is if it can be broken down physically or through mental analysis, it is relative truth. If it cannot be broken down physically or through mental analysis, it's the ultimate truth. So they understand that the wall is made up of many different things, which is not true. And then the bricks are also made up of many different things, not really true, truly existing. But at some point, they say, there has to be something, the smallest of the smallest particle, that must be true. That must really exist, or else this cannot happen. The gross phenomena is possible because of the gathering of these many small phenomena, particles. And the same goes with the mind. They understand that only explains half of existence. Half of existence is the mind. And the mind, they argue that, your feeling, your thoughts, all of these, they say, doesn't really exist. But because, they can be broken down through times. Okay. But there is the shortest duration of mind that cannot be broken down further, and that's true, and that's what is the continuity of that makes up this gross mind. Okay, I think I actually spoke too much, and I don't know what you're thinking, so please ask me questions if you have. Arguments. If you want. I don't even know if we have time for that, but
If anyone has questions, they can raise their hand or they can type in the chat box.
that's all. Yes, Sam. That's all.
When I taught Introduction to Buddhism at the University of Hawaii many years ago, my students often asked what I thought was a very good question, and I never had a very good answer for them. For the Buddhist tradition of denying the self, they often asked me what it was that was reincarnated. And my answer was usually involving the aggregates and the skandhas. But could you elaborate on that? If you don't have a self, what is it that is transmitted from life to life?
There's two answers to that. First of all, thank you for introducing Buddhism to people, And if I may, you can answer that in two ways. I'm sure the first one is very obvious. Is the mind, you can say, the mind that is traveling from this life to the next. In Pramana Vartika alone itself, remember I said Pramana Vartika is very important. This is right there. He quoted from Pramana Vartika. If those of you want to look in the text, the guy starts that text with asking question: Can we trust the Buddha? Is the Buddha a trustworthy person? Kevutsema meaning a trustworthy person. Can we say the Buddha is a trustworthy person or not? And then the whole argument with so many schools about all kinds of different things. And then somewhere is also this argument about life after death. And suppose it was easier to argue about life after death within the Indians when they do it among themselves, because all of them believed in a mind that is other than the body. Almost all of them so it's easy. So there, then he Dharmakirti argues that the last moment of mind will also give birth to the next moment of mind. To understand this, we have to understand that we have to go look further into it, that mind, okay. So then generally we just say that the last moment of mind will cause the first moment of, let's say, bardo, bardo mind. It will give birth to that. Now the last moment of mind of this life will not go to the bardo, but it will cause the bardo mind. Similarly, like each moment to moment, the mind is not going to the next, so you can say the mind is it. Generally, when we talk to people, then it's like, yes, the mind is going to the bardo, through the bardo. Mind is going here and there, as if it is traveling here and there. That's usually, you can say that. But actual answer is nothing goes from anywhere. Nothing can go anywhere. And I'm not talking about emptiness. This is all really important. The moment you say these things, people think you're talking about emptiness. This is not emptiness. This is cause and effect. Cause and effect, the only reason cause and effect can function is if nothing goes from, go anywhere or come from anywhere, then cause and effect can function. That means your existence is for now, this moment. That's it. You do not go to the next moment. But there is the continuity then we talk about is that your mind causes the next moment of mind. This present moment of mind will cause the next moment of mind. So that's about it. We can talk about continuity. This present moment of physical form will cause the next moment of physical form, and until it will stop doing that. That's about all continuity we have. I don't know if, that answer is good, but is there anything else?
There's one question here.
Naso.
I see a little hand raised.
Oh yes, Corey, please.
I'm a bad tech. I forgot where the hand raise button was. But so if there's nothing that's going from life to life, right? I've always figured that the whole point was you would go from life to life and you learn, like you go from task to task and you learn things. But if there's no mind, if nothing goes, then it'd be like I do a task at work and then I have amnesia to the next task. I can't learn if there's no memory. But then you said earlier how we're really just releasing obscurations to come back. So then is it that it's not a matter of learning in an additive process, but rather in each incarnation, we let go of whatever that one was, so that at the end, there is just nothing, rather than at each point adding something, we start at points, and each point we're trying to lose them. I'm sorry, I think I'm going in circles.
This is good. That's good. But you do know, would you say, your ancestors, tens of thousands of years ago, are they here in you? Not really. But whatever they did does influence you. You are not them, they are not you. Even on a relative level, you can say that, don't you? Can't you? So similarly, this nothing needs to come from anywhere. Nothing needs to go anywhere. But this doesn't mean cause and effect does not work. Actually, that's the only way it can work. This is our attachment to a self. We need a self. I was there last life and I did something, so I experienced this in my life. Shantideva said, he said, the one who is born is not the same as the one who dies. But now, your past life and you, are you the same? Obviously not. Not the same body, not the same mind, not the same name, everything different. Your past life, let's say you were a beautiful hummingbird. you know. You're not a hummingbird. Hummingbird is not you. But then, is it someone else? Obviously, also not someone else. You may still have memories. Whatever the hummingbird did influences you. So there is this kind of thing between cause and effect. Life after death. It's really interesting, because when we want to talk about karma, you have to talk about life after death. It just comes together. And then you talk about life after death. If you really look at cause and effect closely, emptiness is just there all the time. It's barely hidden. Emptiness, or whatever we want to call it, the reality of things are just there. Never sort of, so the same. And it's good that you think it doesn't make sense. That's good. Really. Lasso Lobby Red Hawk. What a name. Please.
Thank you so much. Are you saying that if consciousness just is, that mind is the human experience of consciousness? Are you saying that mind is the human experience of consciousness if consciousness just is?
Mind can be anything, human, non-human. So it doesn't necessarily have to be human experience. What I was saying before is that your present mind is a human mind. That.
Yes, so therefore it's our consciousness is that human experience of what is. I mean, are you saying what is that, in other words, the emptiness of what is the I am?
Oh.
Then if that is so, then mind is just the human experience of that consciousness. I mean, I'm just asking.
Here I meant more generally, just your experience, your conscious mind, your ability to know. That's the mind. From this ability to know, then we have everything: feeling, sensation, perception. So yeah, it's not. So when I say mind, I'm not really saying that is this our experience of whatever that is, or the ultimate truth. I'm just saying whatever you have, whatever experience that you have right now, that's the mind.
Right, and that does not reincarnate. That's what you're saying, that it just is in this present. And as you say,
I didn't mean it like that. I meant, okay, yes, that's present, but then also is this hand cream and this glass crystal, no difference, none of this. As I am holding it right now, its previous moment is giving birth to the next moment, and they're not the same. They're also not the different.
Oh yes, that I understand. So I guess that's why I'm saying it's just the experience of the present, but that is not real.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I think now Rinpoche has excited us so much about this topic that we could go on forever, but with appreciation and devotion to the excellent teaching Rinpoche has just given us, we must give him at least a few minutes to take refreshment and have a little bit of lunch. Our next session starts in 45 minutes. So we want to allow Rinpoche to take a brief break and everyone to have a chance to refresh ourselves. So perhaps we can keep our questions, any more that you have, for the next session. And Rinpoche, we're so grateful for what you've taught us this morning. We can't wait for session 2.
Thank you.
Shall we do now some brief dedication prayers? Through this virtue, may I attain the state of omniscience and thereby defeat the foes that are my downfalls. May I liberate beings from the ocean of existence where the waves of birth, old age, disease, and death roll violently. May precious bodhicitta be born in those in whom it has not arisen. For those in whom it has arisen, may it not diminish, but grow ever greater. In whatever way valiant Manjushri and Samantabhadra know how to transfer merit, so do I dedicate all of my own virtues that I might train to be like them. Through this dedication, praised as supreme by the victorious Buddhas of the past, present, and future, I dedicate all of these roots of virtue to accomplishing noble deeds. Thank you very much, Rinpoche, from our hearts. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you again in 45 minutes. Rinpoche, thank you so much for the wonderful, very inspiring teaching this morning. You've truly whetted our appetite for much more, and so we're very grateful. Thank you so much. So now we will prepare to begin the second of the 4 sessions of teachings on Khenchen Kunga Wangchuk's teaching, The Brief Illumination of the View. And we're so very grateful to Tulku Rinpoche for his wonderful teachings. Now, at his advice, we will begin the dedication prayers, the preliminary prayers. Even if we are not able to fully follow and understand the view, at least we can acquire the merit to make aspirations to be able to understand the view in the future and acquire some merit through the recitation of these preliminary prayers. To the excellent Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I go for refuge until enlightenment is won. By the merit of giving and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. To the excellent Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I go for refuge until enlightenment is won. By the merit of giving and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. To the excellent Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, I go for refuge until enlightenment is won. By the merit of giving and the other perfections, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. Prostrations to you, King of the Shakyas, whose body is radiant like a mountain of gold. Through skillful means and compassion, you conquered the hosts of Mara that others could not conquer. I prostrate to the 5 great Sakya founders, Sachin Kunga Ningbo, Sonam Zemo, Jetsandrapa Jeltsin, Sakya Pandita, and the Dharma King, Chujel Pakpa. This is the ground anointed by scented waters, bestrewn with flowers, and beautified by Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun, and the moon. By directing this offering to the realms of the Buddhas, may I place all beings in those pure lands. In accordance with the wishes and mental capacity of living beings, please turn the wheel of Dharma of the larger and smaller traditions.
Okay, this time I will give more time for questioning and question and answers. This is good. You know, we are probably the only religion that will die out if nobody asks questions. The survival of our tradition, at least the teachings, is people need to ask questions. We need to contemplate and analyze, and question comes from there. So it's very important not to be asking something, but when you have doubts, not because I can answer you, but for yourself. Most of the time, if you have a question, you will get your answer. It's usually like that. You can call it merit, you can call it blessing, whatever, but that is the way how things work. Correct or incorrect answer then depends upon how to say a lot of things, and most importantly, our view. All right, please, Laura.
Hello, Rinpoche. Hello. So since you asked for question, I was thinking about something during the break. So about what you said at the end, replying to another question, that you said that nothing needs to go from anywhere to anywhere. And so you brought the idea from cause and effect. So it is not that in T1 we have A, and then in T2 we have A, we will have the consequence of A, so the effect of A, and this is the continuum. So my question is, does this argument rely on temporality, on time? So, and is there, if this is the case, as it seems to me, is there not the risk of having at least something that is permanent, that is the idea of time or temporality or continuum? Is not also time an illusion?
Really
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you. We do not believe in existence of time, even on a relative level. Do you know that? Surely you do. Well, independent existence, that I mean, that there is time other than the matter, other than mind and matter, that there is such a thing as time. That's why we say time is relative, because time is change. That's all. Time is either the change or experience of change. Time that we know and measure is the experience of change. Well, it's imputation given to experience of change. We notice, sun rising, and then at some point it's in the middle of the sky, especially if you're in India, and then it goes down, and that happens again. So, you can call it one day, like that. It's an imputation, a name given to experience of change. Or it is the phenomena themselves. Time. And so we do not believe in a universal time. What you experience as the 5 minute for someone else could be very, very long, feels almost like a couple of hours. So no, for discussion, the notion of time will be used. Only that. For the sake of discussion, we will say first moment, then from first moment, the second moment is born, then third moment. But the moment you ask, what is the first moment? We give it up, like, what do you call it? Like something illegal. We just drop it, say, wait, that's just for the sake of discussion. We do not really believe that there is such a thing as first moment. Actually, that's good that you brought it up. We actually can go through that in the next, especially when we're talking about the higher views and the selflessness of mind. When we get to that point, we can talk about that. So it's like saying nothing truly exists, like a dream. So I depend on dream. Doesn't mean I think dream exists. Matter of fact, I think dream does not exist. That's why I gave the example of dream. So I can use the notion of dream, even though I do not believe in its existence. So similarly here, we use the notion of time, past, present, future. Whereas we do not believe in their true existence. Actually, that's just 3 times. It does not exist. It's a mental phenomenon. We hold on to them in our mind. And we think that they exist. This is actually in Sakya Pandita's Pramana Yukta Nidhi. Oh, sorry to throw these names, but yeah, such analysis. Analysis about time is there. Yeah. It's a very interesting topic, actually, time. In the Abhisamaya Alankara, it's a text composed by Maitreya, and it's a very important Mahayana text where the realization of the Bodhisattva on different stages are discussed. So that's like the most important in that regard. If you want to know about realizations of Bodhisattva on different bhumis thoroughly, so to speak, then you have to read that text. There, one of the greatest quality in the commentaries, again and again and again, also in the sutras, Prajnaparamita sutras, one of the greatest qualities of the Bodhisattva is Tusum Tumedu Topa, realizing that the 3 times is devoid of time, meaning 3 times do not truly exist. And that's one of the greatest quality of the bodhisattvas, on on the bhumis. Yeah. Okay, I think people are writing things.
Yes, could I have just a follow-up, or I don't know, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay.
I just wanted to know if it would make any difference if instead of time, we will say becoming or ongoing becoming. Like, from a seed, we will have a flower. And of course, we cannot say that the flower is the same as the seed. Neither it is different, but not totally different. It's the effect of the seed. So we can say, oh, well, what does it mean that the seed is become the flower? No, it's more like that is in an ongoing process of becoming or process of transformation. Would this still be okay, or also this is an illusion?
Oh, why not? It is an illusion, but you can use that. You can call it whatever you want, as long as you can communicate with people having to waste more time. This is important. That's why we don't, when we talk with people, we just say time. Because that's how we relay the message. That's how it was relayed to us. You can call it something else too, to make it more specific, but that might require more exertion. Okay, let's do one more question. Yes, Sylvia.
Thank you, Rinpoche. You said, I'm coming back to that question. You said for cause and effect to work, nothing goes anywhere or comes from anywhere. Are you relating to both time and space, or just like space? Like,
Everything.
Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit more? I don't understand.
I think I will do that when we come to Madhyamika.
Okay. Yeah.
Because then we are talking about dependent origination now.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's better than,
Okay.
So.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Time. Oh, I remember something. The great Sakya Pandita, when he was 17 years old, he had a dream. He dreamt. One dream. Basically, he went to sleep in the night, and in his dream, Vasubandhu, the brother of Asanga, was there in his dream. He had come to Satya in his dream, and he had his back on a stupa like this. And Satya Pandita received Abhidharma Kosha from him for 1 month. In one night's dream, every day he would wake up, clean his face or whatever Sakya Pandita used to do, do his practice, eat his food, go to the session, receive teaching. Probably there are some breaks, lunch, go again to session, sleep, wake up. 1 month. In one night's dream, he dreamt that he received teaching for 1 whole month. And it was not like warped. It wasn't like something very fast, like a fake 1 month, real 1 month. What is 1 month for you? That was 1 night for him that night. And when he woke up, he knew everything about Abhidharma Kosha. So when he met Shaktashri Bhadra, the last abbot of Nalanda, who had to, I think Nalanda was invaded and destroyed, so he had to run away, and he made his way to Tibet. And he met Sakya Pandita. Sakya Pandita received Abhidharma Kosha from him just for the blessing's sake. He didn't need to learn it at all. He already received it from the author in his dream. But anyway, the notion of time, it's very personal. It's a shared delusion, yet it is personal. Very same to the notion of thinking. I think you are thinking. You think I am thinking. None of us can see each other's thought or touch it or lick it or smell it. Just that. But we just believe there is a communication. You do something as a response, and that is taken as a proof enough. You know, like shared delusion, so to speak. Time is like that. Time is. Okay, maybe no need to scratch it any further, or it gets more weird. But now, when Buddha said anatma, selflessness, Vaibhasika also believed that, though. Vaibhasika believed in selflessness. So Tantrika schools, all of them, they believe in selflessness. But then their belief or idea or teaching of selflessness is very different from what Chittamatra or Asanga or Nagarjuna taught and believed. Name is the same, selflessness, but the meaning is different. Very much similar to, these days you have people who say, oh, all religions the same, you can get enlightenment in any religion using the same term, enlightenment, awakening. When you use the same term, it becomes very confusing because the meaning is very different actually. What is enlightenment? What is awakening? Similarly here, selflessness. So for them, what is it? The self that is taught in the, for example, in the Vedas, like in the Sutantrika, Samkhya schools, non-Buddhist schools, that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist, and that is the selflessness. I mean, for Vaibhasikas. Then there is Sutantrika schools that believe that to see selflessness, you do not have to see the self. You do not have to see that aggregates are also selfless. Maybe this we discuss further. I'm just trying to. Basically, we are born with this belief that we exist. That's called inherent self-grasping. No one needs to be taught that. No one even needs to think that I exist. Nobody thinks like that. But everything you do is based upon the belief that I exist. Only when someone asks you, do you begin to say, of course I exist, or of course I am here, I am not there, like that. This is called inherent self-grasping, and then all beings have that. Doesn't matter who. How many billions of human beings are there in this world? All of them have self-grasping. Nobody had to be taught how to think like this. Inherent self-grasping. But then there are those who follow philosophical schools, like this kind of school of the thoughts, that try to define this self that we all grasp upon, this self. So they try to define it. Then you have all kinds of strange description that it is permanent, and even that it is made by a creator, like maybe even a god or some nature, force of nature. Regardless, it is created and so on, because then now you're trying to describe it. This is called imputed self-grasping. You have to learn it, or learn it self-grasping. Learn it self-grasping. One is out of habitual tendency and karma, the inherent self-grasping. So you can only get rid of it by removing its cause, the habitual tendencies and the karmas, basically, then seeing the emptiness. That's the only way. You cannot remove it through talking, reasoning, or thinking, understanding. No matter however many times you hear and you understand selflessness, it is still yourself understanding that, so to speak. Whereas the other one, the imputed self-grasping, can be removed through reasoning, through logical reasoning and rational discussions and so on. So about karma, there's just, what we just discussed, there's just so many. Each school have their explanation of karma and how does karma work. Vibhasika school, saying it very generally, Vibhasika school believe that, when you do something good or bad, whatever, when you accumulate a karma, something is born within you. That's neither your body nor your mind, but sort of like a quality. And that's it's like a receipt or of a loan. When you loan money to people and they sign a receipt that I have taken this much money from this person. As long as you have that receipt, you still have that money, so to speak. So it's like that. As long as you have this phenomenon, the karma is still there. So in theory, because the karma is impermanent phenomena, you do something good, let's say, and the next moment that thing is gone. Now the question is, how does it give result after 10 years, 20 years? What is there in between that makes sure that each karma will give result and their own result without any mistake? Some sort of a law, like rules they seek. And so there is this kind of explanation from Vibhasika. So Tantrika might then even say that seeds are left upon your mental consciousness. When you do something good karma is like a seed on your mental consciousness. Bad karma is like a seed on, like this kind of cup where is holding all the karma. Wherever it goes with all the seeds, and whenever causes and conditions come together, the seeds give result. None of this is accepted by Madhyamikas. Now comes the Mahayana schools. Chitta Matra and Madhyamaka. Chitta Matra meaning mind only. School is largely based upon the teachings of Buddha in sutras such as Lankavatara, where best to just read it. Here you have Dashabhumika Sutra, for example. O sons of Jinas, the three worlds of existence are mere states of mind. Actually, I would like to say, the Tibetan says the three worlds of existence are mere mind. Not states of mind. When you say states of mind, it's how to say, it gives some area of doubt about, or it's not direct states of mind. Then you want to know what are the states of mind. Whereas whereas this quotation of Buddha that says the three realms of existence are mere mind, or three realms of existence are mind only. So it's more sort of saying it's mere mind. So that's what they want, they like, that this negates the existence of external phenomena, existence of form. It negates the existence of form. That's what they believe. Now, so Chitta Matra school does not believe that form truly exists. Remember, the previous school, so Tantrika believed that form exists, not this form that you can see and touch, but the smallest of the particle, they exist and they come together and form this big phenomena that you have. So what's happening is, according to them, is that billions and countless of particles of your hand is touching billions of countless of particles of the wall. There is this sort of touching happening, that's it. So according to this school. Whereas then comes Chitta Matra, who tells them, if these are the smallest particles, there can be no touching. You understand? There can be no meeting, no gathering. This is such a good reasoning, actually. And I wonder, before we found out that atoms can be broken down, I wonder if those people would hear this, what would they say? This logic, this reasoning is so sharp. Well, I guess it's still, I guess, would be considered a theory, but still. Okay. Basically, Vasubandhu argued, you people say that there's one particle here, one particle here, one particle here, one particle here, and they all come together and form a bigger mass. But you also say that each one of these are the smallest, cannot be broken down. The Tibetan translation is Dulchen Chame. What do you call it? Partless atom, like partless particle. So cannot be broken down. They're just like singular phenomena now. Just the final point. So then the argument is, how are they meeting now? So when there is one atom here and another here, another here, let's say. So question is, the part that is touching this, is it the same part that is touching the other one or not? And and the part that's touching here, is it the same one, this one, or different from there? And the part that's touching here, is it the same one, this part or that part or not? If this part is also this part, that part, because it should be, since it's unbreakable, cannot be broken down any further, then all of this should, what do you call it? Collapse. Or all of this should just fit into one particle. Billions and billions and billions of particles should come and hit this particle, and this particle should not become bigger than just one partless particle. This is really sharp reasoning. And if you say no, they have direction, like this right side, left side, front and back, above and below and so on. So then Vasubandhu says, look, it's not partless. It's, it can be parted down. Now, this is such an ironclad reasoning. And to how to say, then some answers is that, well, they do gather, but they do not touch each other. They remain, and there is some space for air in between. But then again, Vasubandhu says it's the same. The direction that is facing this one, is it separate? Is it the same one that is facing this or not? If it is, it should all collapse into one atom. If it is not, this is not partless. It has 4 directions. And then put more, it has 8 directions. And then above and below, it has 10 directions. This is easy, right? All right. So this is how the Chittamatrans come to the conclusion that form doesn't truly exist. When you go look outside of any phenomena, it's, oh, where is this? They're made of hundreds and thousands of different parts. Initially, they're made of color and wood, and and then you analyze further, it becomes more and more and more elaborate. And there never was a pencil, So this is now Chittamatra. Yet you see a pencil, you think there is a pencil, you experience a pencil. Hence, the logical reason, now the sort of logical conclusion is, it is your own mind that is fooling you. It is the appearance of your own mind. If there would be a pencil outside, and then you seeing the pencil is nothing different. And mind you, this is not just saying this pencil that you see is created by your mind. That even the Sotantrika people believe that. Even the Sotantrika people will say, whatever you see and hear, smell and taste is your own mind. But there lies the difference. They still believe that phenomena also exist externally. Okay. This is really good, but it's, I don't think I can explain well. I'm really bad at this. Okay. Now, here is a stone, crystal. I see it. Now, Sutantrika people will say, you see through your eye consciousness, But ordinarily you think there is this phenomena here, and then I see this phenomena. I am experiencing this phenomena. But then Chitta, so I'm not even talking about Chitta Matra, Madhyamika, Sutantrika people, who are the pioneers of Pramana. They say what happens is that in the first instant, before your eye consciousness is born, right before that, there was this phenomena here. There was a crystal here. And then there was, visibility, which is light. Now what is light? So there is light. And then there is your eye faculty focused on it. It should be looking here. If it's looking somewhere else, does not work. There has to be crystal, visibility, eye faculty, and you should not be dead or unconscious or sleeping. Then still, even though your eyes are open, it does not register anything. When all of those are together, in the next moment, you will see it. So when you see it, what you see has already passed and gone. It's not there anymore. This is Sutantrika school. In Pramana teachings is there. And this is so good. Really, like when we say creation of mind, it's creation of mind, we're not talking about, oh, this tea is delicious for some people, not delicious for some people, and neutral for some people. That's why it's creation of mind. That's very, very sort of, what do you call it? Too easy. We don't even want to talk about this. We are talking about the very fabric of our functionality of our mind and faculty. It's really sharp. So then the same taste, whatever you are tasting is not the food, but it is the how to say, the consciousness that is generated from this food. Whatever you are hearing, the same. First moment, ear faculty, sound, and then no barrier. If there is completely blocked, you cannot hear. So no barrier, sound, can come, and you are focused. Let's say, yes, you're not unconscious. So then the next moment you hear, but when you hear, that sound is gone. Okay, so already in the, what do you call it, Sotantrika level, already it's established that whatever you see, smell, taste, is all mind itself. You can never ever experience external phenomena directly. That's not possible. Why? Because your experience of that external phenomena are results of those external phenomena, and cause and effect can never be together. When there is cause, effect cannot exist. When there is effect, the cause cannot be there, like that. I forgot why I go into this. Oh yes, so if you really want to know such type of view, request their holinesses, or any sort of the masters for Khorde Yerme, the view of Lamde, and they will really teach you properly. But here I'm just running back and forth and trying to bide time. Chittamatra school. Years ago, Dongsa Khyentse Rinpoche said, we have done them wrong. Like really, we have, how to say, we have really, in order to establish our Madhyamika view, we just we kind of build them up when we discuss, but in a way so we can destroy them easily, like there is a, it's rigged, so to speak. Even now, I talked about Samkhya with the view that they are mistaken. Obviously, I'm not going to, I'm not unbiased in this regard. Same with Chittamatra. But it's really, it's a Mahayana school, and the logics, reasonings are really sharp. And it's also, they have also been Chittamatra masters who practice Vajrayana. Matter of fact, Virupa, Mahasiddha Virupa, was the Chittamatra teacher when he was practicing Chakra Samvara every day. So every night he would meditate on Chakra Samvara practices, mandalas, and during daytime he would give teachings. He did that until he was 71 or 75. So yeah, so I want to say that they are also not to look down upon them. Now, so then the mind-only school, they have their own languages. You realize that the stranger the school, stranger the languages they have. The stranger the view. When you have a very strange view, you need to construct a very strange language, with all kinds of things and new names, and people, when you first read it, you get shocked. What is what? I don't know. I need to have a dictionary to explain to me what each term means. The better the view becomes, less weirder the language. It becomes more normal. Yeah. And that was the way Buddha would teach. His way was not of creating new ideas, new system or complex, workings. No, just to say, talk about things however it is. Just quite natural, actually. Like Buddha would look at a rice seedling in his hand, he would hold a rice seedling, and he said things like, monks, whoever sees dependent origination sees the Dharma. Whoever sees the Dharma sees the Buddha. And then that's it, quiet. And that's it. From there, and then somebody hears that and goes to find someone else. I think Sariputra heard that and goes to find Maitreya. Maitreya is just there is a place that Maitreya goes frequently, and there they meet and they sit on a flat rock, and then Sariputra asks Maitreya, today Buddha was looking at the rice seedling and said this, what does it mean? And then whole teaching of the rice seedling sutra comes, and it's completely, there is no need for any weird languages, strange languages. It's just normal. But Chittamatra, some weird language even now that okay. Of course, all of these schools speak the language of two truths: ultimate truth, relative truth. The difference is between these schools and Madhyamika school is that, and this is actually genius of Korampa, Sonam Singye, the Sakyapa masters to whom the author made homage to before his teacher. I said, Korampa Sonam Singye is genius. He said all the other schools if it exists, it has to exist in their ultimate truth, ultimate reality. Whereas in Madhyamika school, if it exists, it has to exist in relative truth. So that's the genius, the what do you call it, the sum of it all, so to speak. Okay. Then well, you can read it here. It's quite condensed, I must say. But if you want to know more about Chittamatra school, sadly we don't have a lot of text that really completely dedicated to Chittamatra school. There is one text from Maitreya Sutra Alankara, Mahayana Sutra Alankara. And again, masters argue, is it Chittamatra's text or Madhyamika text? Regardless, those who believe it's a Madhyamika text will explain it in a Madhyamika way, and those who believe it's Chittamatra text explain it in a Chittamatra way. The general Sakyapa's stance is that it's a Chittamatra text. Mainly the omniscient Korampa's, Saman Singhi's argument is it's a Chittamatra text. So let's say it's the Chittamatra text. And if you read commentaries of that text, then you may understand a bit better. But I believe also there are other writings of Vasubandhu and other masters too, that if you find and you read, you might understand better. I think this tradition is said to have spread in ancient China. It did not in Tibet. So they categorize everything into three things. Kunta, imputed phenomena. Kunta Shema Yongdu. And then the second is Shemvang, other dependent. And Yongdup is like what is Yongdup? Fully established, let's say. Imputed phenomena basically means whatever that does not exist. Imputations, form. Right now let's say it's form. All of these things that when you think it's outside. So this object that is supposedly outside for you, that's imputed phenomena. Your mind made this imputation that it is there, whereas in reality it is appearance of your mind. So appearances arising in your mind due to karma and afflictions and so on. And then other dependent, Shenwang, how they translate it, is mind. Shenwang basically means mind. And then the last one is the reality, the ultimate reality. Yume Yongdrup, the fully established reality. Or fully established without any cause. Talking about emptiness. Basically, I'm really making it very, very basically form, mind, emptiness. That's what they did. Form, mind, emptiness. Form doesn't exist, imputation. Mind, it's what is really there, and then emptiness. Okay. Let's have some questions to cleanse our as a, what do you call it, you know, palate cleanser. it's getting too right. Can we have a suggested reading list of the text? Okay. Then the next question about the reading list, we will see. I mean, but these are not something that you just buy or get, download and read by yourself. You really need to read commentaries and have some back and forth from a person, you know. In which other ways does the fully enlightened Buddha benefit sentient beings besides speech compared to a Pratyeka Buddha? Oh, that's something I can, what do you call it, regurgitate. Yeah. All right. You know what we did at the beginning? You meditate on Buddha's form. That is the teaching. That was the teaching. When you met, your mind molds into that form of the Buddha at that time. In the yes, in the sutras it is taught that Buddhas teach in all kinds of ways, especially through taste, smell, touch, hearing, sound, which is the speech, and yes, also maybe it's Vajrayana, I don't know, but through mind. In the sutra of Vimalakirti Sutra, Khenchen just taught on this sutra a lot. Maybe read the sutra itself also. There, Vimalakirti, who is a sick man in that sutra, he was, the sutra begins with him being very, very sick and bedridden. And then him thinking, how come Buddha did not send anybody to ask me how I am? And then Buddha sending people to ask him how he is. So that's how the sutra starts. And Vimalakirti is not a monk. He has long hair and is not pious. He gambles. He frequents, female friends, and he also likes to contradict and argue with the monks, and sometimes when like that. So he's a very, very strange figure. But apparently he was a great bodhisattva, and only Manjushri could handle him. Only Manjushri could handle a discussion with him. And there, Vimalakirti, while lying on his bed, sends an emanation from his mind to a Buddha realm where the Buddha does not speak. Buddha teaches through smell. You should read the sutra. Buddha makes them sit under specific trees, and the scent of those trees calm their mind, and that's how samatha vipassana is born. It's just so interesting. Anyway, it's because what is teaching? Teachings. What is dharma? Dharma is not the words. Words describe dharma. Dharma is the realization and the reality of phenomena, and the realization of that is dharma. And if that is relayed somehow into the mind of the whoever, teaching is done. That is the teaching, right? Isn't it? All right. Which text to read about Bhumis? So many. I wouldn't suggest reading Mahayana Sutra Mahayana Abhisamaya Alankara, that the one I described. It's so difficult. It's like it will be more difficult than hitting on a rock wall. Unless you have like an instructor or teacher and go through it, or else just don't. If you read it by yourself, read it for blessing. But entering the middle path also talks about the 10 bhumis. That one is because the main topic is emptiness. The bhumi part were quite soft, almost romantic. And also Daja Bhumika Sutra, the Sutra of the 10 bhumis, obviously should be read. Then the next question, could Rinpoche explain more about the difference between the concept awakening and enlightenment? Enlightenment sounds like it was dark before and somebody turned the light on, doesn't it? Isn't it? I don't know what it actually means, the root of this word and what it really means. But as a translator, I would say they should mean the same thing. It sounds like they mean almost the same thing. Awakening, you were sleeping before, you were awake. Enlightenment, you were in dark before, now you know. But yeah, that's all. And I don't think I understood the question. Yeah. Oh, awakening and enlightenment, there are reasons for them. Oh, by the way, when I say awakening and enlightenment, I meant the awakening and enlightenment that's taught in the Indian sources, in the sutras and tantras and the Indian masters. I hear that in the Zen tradition, there's a lot of different types of enlightenment, and I'm not talking about those. I don't understand them. I don't know them. So I hope you're not referring to those. Otherwise, yes, Arhats are awakened, enlightened. Pratyeka Buddhas more awakened, I guess, more enlightened. Buddhas completely awakened, completely enlightened. Not really sure what difference should there be between these two. Yeah. Oh, you guys are sending me direct message, so other people are not seeing this. Gosh. Then the other question, what you just said at the end there is equivalent to the teachings of each of the 3 turnings of the wheel of Dharma? Strange. You mean about how Buddhas teach? Well, turning the wheel of Dharma, what we understand is very much verbal through speech, but Buddha have taught in so many different ways. When people see Buddha, immediately they, it's like how when people meet His Holiness Dalai Lama, maybe that's a good example. They feel happy and warm, and for 1 or 2 hours they're nice. That niceness is the turning the wheel of Dharma, that kindness that they feel. This man, he doesn't necessarily have to say anything. They feel the devotion. Devotion is Dharma, and that is invoked through mere presence of this being. So like that, I guess I meant. Someone asked, can you help me understand what mind is? That's okay. That one I wanted to do. Let's take a break. And also, please send question to everyone, not just to me, or else they don't see what I'm saying. Right. How many minutes, Anila?
Rinpoche, I think we have still one more hour, so it's a perfect time to take a break. Perhaps we take a break and then after that we can resume. Shall we
That's right.
do, how long should we do? 15 minutes? Or
Yeah, 10
is
minutes.
that good?
Nice.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yes.
Thank you. So we'll resume in 10 minutes. Thank you, Rinpoche.
Mind, we're going to talk about mind anyway, since we're right now at the Chittamatra school. Mind, now according to Chittamatra, sort of the purest form of mind is truly existent. Let's say that. And dualistic mind, subject and object, this is not truly existing. It's like a dream experience. When you dream, when you're dreaming, and in your dream, you see something and you feel something, and so in the dream object and the dream eye consciousness, so to speak, both are fake similarly. It's all dream. It did not happen. Even the dream experience, the feelings, and it never happened. Just you dreamt. Whereas you need to have a consciousness for the dream to happen, so that there is this sort of a more fundamental consciousness that is removed from the workings of grasping, thinking, and so on. That will be truly existent. Or maybe better to say it like this, the shortest moment of mind, the purest moment of mind that is truly existing. Now, if you want to talk about mind in the Madhyamika way, then it's very slippery. What is mind? Mere experience. First of all, Buddha taught 8 major minds, 52 minor minds, or 8 minds and 52 mental factors. Just like the 5 aggregates. And when it comes to mind, it's similarly difficult. When we think about mind, the workings of the mind is so swift that we see no seams. We see it feels like one thing. My mind was happy, now my mind is sad. Now my mind is sleepy. Like, it's so fast. The Sutantrika teachers said it's like a one sharp needle piercing hundreds of lotus petals, like when someone stabs it, it's so swift that it seems like one happening, but each of those petals, were pierced at a different time, or else it cannot happen, right? Or another example is that it's like a very sort of very jumpy monkey, that if you look from this window, it's there in front of your face, trying to get out. If you run quickly, go to other window, it's also there, So since since we are so slow, the different minds, when they arise, we mistake them as one flow, one mind, and it is made even worse. I love this example. You think that when you die, you will come out of your body and you will still look like yourself. You know what I mean? Like in the ghost movies or whatever, where somebody is dying and then it's dead, and then someone who looks exactly like them but little transparent, comes out. That's what we think what mind is. To be honest, most of us, it's very simple, very simple way of understanding mind, actually. Whereas Sakyamuni said, there's no such thing as one mind. You have so many different kinds of mind arising through your body, and the objects, phenomena, there's just so many different types of mind arising simultaneously or in sequence. It's just happiness is not sadness. Jealousy is not kindness. You can be jealous and then suddenly you can be kind towards something. They are all different, like past life and this life, exactly like that. Exactly like that. Very not the same. Not necessarily have to be completely different also. Nevertheless, first step of understanding mind for us, I think it is to understand that it's not one phenomenon. It's can be many different things, experiences. When that is done, then I think it's a bit easier. Well, understanding mind is just because it doesn't really resembles anything we know, yet it is the only thing we know. You know what I mean? Anything else, it's interpretation to you. So you are blind, you are deaf, your nose does not work, you know nothing. So everything you know is that mind told to you by your mind. One thing. Yet this mind is, you cannot see it, you cannot touch it, you cannot smell it. It's just you feel it, I guess. And you say, yes, mind is inside the body. The moment you said it's like that's just so stupid. The moment we say such a thing, but we have to say such a thing, that it is here, not there. Mind. But it is definitely not a physical phenomenon. Yeah. Physical phenomena, some predictable. You can chase down. Mind not really predictable. You never know what it will do. All right. That's now the Chitta Matra school. Whatever form does not exist externally. So whatever form that you see or smell or touch or hear, it's all expression of your own mind. Not willingly though, not willingly, not knowingly even, just happening. So the mind is called other dependent, meaning it depends on karma and these kind of things to give. When causes and conditions are complete, it has no power but to just spout result, which is the experience. And then upon this mind, the non-existence of form, upon this mind is emptiness. That's the third one, emptiness. Form, mind, emptiness. Maybe this is easier than saying imputed phenomena, other dependent, and fully established phenomena of reality. Then the question is asked, okay, this pencil, you can see it, I can see it, so many people see this pencil. So how does that happen? Then Chitta Matra says, we all have similar karma to see this pencil. And so we see a pencil, but each one of us are seeing different pencil actually. I see what's created by my mind. You see what's created by your mind. Yet karma arises that we all see this, and so it happens. In the text, Khenchen Rinpoche writes, which is actually such a important argument of Chitta Matra, that he just writes it, where is it? In the 12th, page number 12. Maybe I start with the last paragraph, paragraph that starts at the end of 11th. The Chitta Matra school uses this quotation and many other similar quotations from a vast number of sutras, as well as the logic of clarity and the logic of simultaneous ascertainment of objects to explain their view. Now, simultaneous ascertainment. Simultaneously. Basically saying there is no object without subject. Basically saying if there is no mind, what exists? Who is to say what exists? Who decides what is there such a thing then as existence or non-existence? If there is no mind. Remember, isn't there something like if there's nobody and a tree branches break and no one hears it, is that even a sound? Something like that. It's similar to that. Meaning if there is object, there is a subject. So the existence of object depends 100% on a subject. So that's their argument for mind only also. They are guaranteed to be seen together, or so to speak, Like some of you have heard me use this example before. You know, I live in a village. So let's say someone is stealing milk. Somehow every day people wake up, someone finds that their milk carton is gone. And all of these places where the milk is stolen, a man named Roland is always there. He's always there. Here, today it was stolen here. Somehow people saw him walking around. Yesterday, someone else's milk was stolen. Again, Roland was there. And it always happens. So people discuss. 20 times milk, milk got stolen from our village. And 20 times people saw Roland at the crime scene. So he stole the milk. That's, what do you call it? The logical conclusion. You don't have to be a genius to get it. Well, yes, he's the best bet. He stole the milk. This is exactly like that here. Even more so with the mind and matter, subject and object. Mind and form. That's what they're saying. Simultaneously ascertained all the time. They're both there. Especially if object is there, then subject's definitely there. This is also a very big argument of Chittamatra school. Most of us usually learn the Chittamatra view not through a specific Chittamatra text, rather from texts like Entering the Middle Path, where we want to destroy the Chittamatra view, but before that, then the Chittamatra view is taught as first to establish it, then destroy it. Also in Ways of Bodhisattva in the 9th chapter 2, and I will, of course, I'm not saying that it's not a proper way. Why not? If it is done properly. But just so you know, our information about Chittamatra school is quite shaky in this regard. Now, 3 vehicles, about the theory of 3 vehicles. Okay, this one. Well, the idea is some schools believe that 3 vehicles are fixed. Fixed, meaning if you follow Stravaka path and you become Arhat, that's it. You can never become Buddha. Matter of fact, when you die, you're gone. Anyway, right? So obviously, so Vaibhasika school, so Tantrika school definitely believe that the 3 vehicles are final. Chittamatra school also believe, is it? Yes, Chittamatra school also believe in the 3 vehicles are final, but not like how the other 2 schools believe. But anyway, it's there. You can read as in the page number 13, the last paragraph. Each of the 3 schools, now Vaibhasika, Sutantrika, Chittamatra, each of the 3 schools believes in 3 ultimate results. The difference of that is that the Vaibhasika and Sautrantika believe that When a Sravaka of uncertain lineage reaches the stage of patience on the path of application, it is impossible to become a Mahayana practitioner. Since these schools believe that the three yanas are final, like you can reach a certain stage, from there's no return, then you have to become arhat. You can never become Buddha, or you can never become Pratyeka Buddha, like that. And so they have two types of practitioners. Uncertain lineage and certain. So uncertains are the ones, who may be Bodhisattva right now, but no guarantee. Next life become Sravaka and become Buddha, like that. Certain ones are, when they are Bodhisattva, they will remain Bodhisattva. When they are, Sravaka practitioners, they will remain Sravaka practitioners. They will not go to any other vehicle ever. That's the big difference between these schools and Madhyamika. Madhyamika believe that there's only one vehicle, really one vehicle, and the other two are mere sort of additional support for that vehicle. It's more like, as is taught in the sutras also, that the journey is so far that, a ship captain who is very skillful and knows that if he tells his crew that we are going to travel 2,000 miles, they are not going to even come on the journey. And it's very important to take them on this journey. So what he will say is, we will travel 50 miles today. That's all the information they need. That's it. We go to that, 50 miles. There's a beautiful place, I don't know, we do our business or whatever needs to be done there, we do it there. So they're very joyful. But once they reach there, he lets them rest a little bit and then say, well, actually, this is not the real, destination. The real destination is furthermore, like that, taking them further and further slowly. In this regard, you can have people who travel 2,000 miles straight, and then those who sort of rest on the way. So the other schools, other vehicles for us in the Madhyamika tradition are like that. They are resting places for those who do not have the courage or the will better, to just go straight. And so there's only one vehicle ultimately, meaning, yes, you can become Arhat now, but at some point you have to become a Bodhisattva to become a Buddha, or else your journey is incomplete. That is the another argument here. And then there is also talk about selflessness of individual and selflessness of phenomena too here. Maybe better to then use that for the Madhyamika. Let me think, what else can I say about Chittamatra? Oh, this one is nice. Chittamatra, by the way, according to their tradition, the ultimate reality, emptiness, is also truly existent. So it's not only mind that truly exists, although they say mind only, but the ultimate reality also truly exists. All right. Someone asked which text to read about time. There's no real specific text to read about time, but it's just spread everywhere. Especially if you read King of Aspiration. There's a lot of talk about time, 3 countless of eons in 1 fraction of a second, and this kind of things. And in many sutras too, where people think, oh, Buddha has been talking for 1 evening now. When they look at Buddha, he's sitting somewhere and there are people in front of him. Whereas those who were listening to the teaching, they thought Buddha has been teaching for 1 aeon, and they experienced it for 1 aeon, like going home, sleeping, coming back, receiving teachings, and both are equally valid or equally invalid, both experiences. One that thought, oh, Buddha is sitting there for 1 evening, and then during that evening I did this, and he's still teaching for 1 evening. And then those who were sitting in front of Buddha and experienced 1 aeon. Yeah. So like this kind of things, it's just spread everywhere in the Maha and the text. Not really sure which one to suggest to you though. Could you please explain how devotion helps? Maybe, yeah, this we have to talk. Maybe when we come to the subject of view. Then most importantly, devotion brings certainty. Certainty is what is needed. Trust. It's really like no doubt. That's what is needed. It's really like that. For the mind to just make that, yeah, it really needs that push, so to speak. Then, Anila also wrote one. These days we are familiar with the view of Western science, not the view of ancient Indian schools. How would Buddhism refute the view of Western psychology concerning the nature of mind? Western psychology, I don't know what Western psychologists say about the nature of mind, to be honest. From what I gathered, there can be so many different. I don't even know if they're concerned about the nature of mind. Yes, believing that mind is mere functionality of brain, that has been there. That's why I said that then it sounds quite mechanical to me. Whereas my experience is not mechanical. I am unpredictable. I do things that's going to harm me on purpose. Eating a lot of chili. I don't know what else. When we, once we had a debate with Western, not just scientists, actual Western scientists, really well known, well established. And by we, I mean monks. I was a monk at that time. one question we were not allowed to ask is if it really is the brain that is doing everything, which part of the brain is responsible for the self-grasping, for the ego, for the idea of me? Yeah, that was, we were told you cannot ask that. From what I hear till now, sounds like functionality is taken as proof. Taking functionality as a proof. For example, you know the Buddhist cosmology, what is it? Mount Sumeru and the sun going around Mount Sumeru and all that. It has functionality so good that they can predict everything based on this calendar. When will be, eclipse, when will be, all kinds of things. That's functionality. Based upon this kind of view that the sun is going around this big mountain, Earth is flat, like that. But it functions. Is it true? Just because things in our head lights up, every time we think different things, different area lights up. Is it the same thing? But it functions. Not sure. I think there's a lot to answer, actually, a lot to contemplate on this. Warren Cox, I mean imputed mind, fully established reality without any cause. Okay. Three turnings of the wheel. Maybe not. But if if you want to make the connection, you can. This I've noticed. If you think long enough, you can draw connection anywhere. So I don't know, but just like directly, I would say not necessarily. Mind is mind consciousness. Not necessarily. Mind if you look at mind through your body as the base, I think we're making big mistake. Like your body as the base, all of this as base, and then look into the mind. What is it? Whereas if you look at the mind itself as the base and all of this as mere reflection of it, then there is a different way of looking at things. All of this is then just happening in front of the mind. No one is going, no one is coming. Mind is going nowhere, coming from nowhere. I'm not talking about emptiness at all right now. It's relative truth. We're talking about mind. Consciousness is very crude, so to speak. It's very rough. A mind can be much, much finer than that, it seems. Okay, for example, thinking. This is a pencil. This thought, this is a pencil. It takes some time to think that. A second, 2 seconds, maybe half a second. Whereas nothing can exist that long. You know, if it exists, it has to exist at the shortest moment of time. Okay, let's talk about this maybe tomorrow more. When we talk about subtle mind and gross mind. Subtle mind, I find it's better to talk in terms of time then. Yeah, I will write it down, don't forget. Okay, how many questions are there now?
Rinpoche, perhaps our questions are endless, and already you have given us so many hours and of your wisdom, and we should have compassion on you because Rinpoche is far ahead of us in time. It's late at night, and so not compassion, but deep respect for your kindness. So perhaps we can think about our questions and bring some more tomorrow for you. And thank you so much, very, very much from our hearts for your wonderful teaching today that's inspired and excited us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. May we now do the dedication prayers. Through this virtue, may I attain the state of omniscience and thereby defeat the foes that are my downfalls. May I liberate beings from the ocean of existence where the waves of birth, old age, disease, and death roll violently. May precious bodhicitta be born in those in whom it has not arisen. For those in whom it has arisen, may it not diminish, but grow ever greater. In whatever way Manjushri and Samantabhadra know how to transfer merit, so do I dedicate all of my own virtues that I might train to be like them. Through this dedication, praised as supreme by the victorious Buddhas of the past, present, and future, I dedicate all of these roots of virtue to accomplishing noble deeds. Again, Rinpoche, on behalf of Khenpo Khalsang, Khenchen Kunga Wangchuk, and all of us fortunate disciples today, thank you very, very much. We look forward to tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.